The reason why this time we are not going to miss the targets of on our dreams and aspirations is the structure that Vision 2030 adopted. The delivery board itself is a catalyst and a facilitation arm. It's not the implementing agent. The implementing agent is neither the government, but the state corporations that directly have the day-to-day mandate. So when it comes, for instance, to air transport, then it's the Kenya Airports Authority, whose normal role and responsibility is really to facilitate that. And that is why you find we are visiting various boards and corporations that are our principal implementing agents. And it's for that reason, as you can see, there is no politician amidst us. And again, we have insulated these projects from the politics of the day, from literally the government of the day. And that is why we believe on continuity. More importantly is that this project to a great extent has been ring-fenced. As you saw, something like the Greenfield Landway, the Greenfield Terminal, they are all being done by the private sector, the 500 million. So it's literally something that could have been done by any of the corporation out there. Our public corporations, the implementing agents, can compete with any of the private sector. And they are a great indication of what is happening within the economy. If you really want to know how much we have achieved in Vision 2030, just look at the performance indicators again, we would really commend you, Chairman, and your board and management for excellent improvement. Of course, the greatest room that has always existed is for further improvement, so we would encourage you to really. The second one is I would like also to commend you, particularly on the development of Vision 2030 project, which we are really grateful that we'll be receiving the. We have already received the first one of the extension of the aprons. Those ones were completed and handed over. So that is something you can tick. Vision 2030 Delivery Board has delivered. The second item was the Kisumu International Airport, which we have been guaranteed within the next 1 month. We'll be taking over and literally now allowing the private sector to utilize this infrastructure. We're also very excited that the modernization, particularly of the departure floor, I think has really improved dramatically. The seats, as we saw them, it could be any airport anywhere in the world. And again, that. But what has impressed us most is the competitiveness aspect. Vision 2030 is about making this country competitive, globally competitive. And as you have heard, we have literally won all the awards that you can get in Africa, and now we are winning awards of emerging markets. That is a measure of the desired position. Because as soon as we become competitive, we now have 9 airlines lined up to start using Jomo Kenyatta. As soon as that happens, then we become the hub, because then we distribute the rest of the passengers using what you could call continental routes. Let me say that the takeoff of the partnership. We are very impressed that you are working with your stakeholders. In most of the meetings we have had with the Kenya Airports Authority, the managing director comes with the managing director of his biggest stakeholder, Kenya Airways. And those meetings have been very exciting to see Naikuni saying what he needs, and Engineer, this is the day to deliver. And we are very, very grateful, Engineer, that you have delivered on that promise, and that really then motivates the others to achieve. The last thing I would really like to talk is about Vision 2030 is designed to be complete by 2038. The biggest role of the first or the inaugural delivery board team was to lay the foundation that will ensure that this vision is achieved. And I'm very excited that all the 3 phases that would add up by 2030, they are all at the design level. More importantly, the new greenfield terminal is now being done on design and development, construction, such that it's not this one you get a design and then an exciting thing is that the bid closure is on 30th of September. And hopefully, Chairman, if you could analyze within the next 2 months, such that the 2nd of January we award the tenders, then Vision 2030 milestones become irreversible. And that is the most exciting thing about it, because then you can't be able to reverse these things. And they become like our constitution that acquire a life of their own. Because once the contract are signed, you can only get out of them by paying the full price. Oh. So we are very excited that, again, phase one. The second one we would like to really commend your board is the flexibility of your board, that you constantly review. Initially, we had thought the best way was to put another story on top of this building. Then we are able to separate the departures and arrivals. But we saw that it's not going to change much, simply because it will still be stuck with 9 million passenger capacity. But we are now saying we'll have 9 million. Immediately, number 4 is complete, and then an additional 20, that puts us to 29, and phase 3, which is just an extension of the Greenfield Terminal House, puts us to 38 million. 38 million by 2030 will be about 60% of the population of Kenya. So it means that if 6 out of 10 of our population uses the airport, there will still be sufficient space.
Well, today's visit, today we had a joint board meeting between the Vision Delivery Board, Vision 2030 Delivery Board, and the Kenya Airports Authority Board. And the idea was that in past board meetings, we have invited the Kenya Airports Authority, together with Kenya Airways, who is the biggest client, to our board meetings to review progress of critical flagship projects. And there are 2 main flagship projects under the Kenya Airports Authority, JKIA. That is the upgrade of the existing terminal buildings in JKIA. And as you can see, there's tremendous progress that has been done on all those. We have, by June of next year, 2012, the new Unit 4, the new car park will be complete. The second major project is what you saw in the media just a few weeks ago. An expression of interest was sent out for a brand new terminal building, 20 million people, double the size of the current terminal, the current airport terminal. And on those, we are pretty happy with the progress thus far. Now, of course, there are other projects as well across the country. Kisumu Airport, which we expect to be opened or commissioned within 1 month, a brand new international airport. Airstrips across the country are being upgraded. The runways, both at JKIA and Moi International Airport, Mombasa, are also being upgraded. So we were actually focused today on inspecting physically those infrastructure projects that are under the Kenya Airport Authority. Of course, we have many others, but today's focus was on the airport or aerodrome infrastructure projects under Vision 2030, which are critical to Kenya remaining a hub for this region. Delays, I mean, you don't plan to predict delays. I mean, then there will not be a delay, right? As far as I see, with this airport project, we're on course, because the idea was to complete by June 2012 this phase, the phase 2. And in fact, we were discussing, as you all know, you attended the meeting, and we're discussing with the airport authority how can they fast track, actually even move it faster by increasing the number of shifts that are going to be undertaken here. As far as Thika Road goes, I am perfectly confident that by June of 2012, June of next year, the Thika Superhighway project will be complete and Kenyans will be using it. So, and I hope that it is clear to everybody that the infrastructure projects under Vision 2030 are comprehensive. We focus a lot on roads, highways, and not just in Thika Road, but across the entire country. We've also been focusing on ICT infrastructure, fiber optics, both the overseas undersea cable, as well as fiber optic infrastructure across the country. Now we are talking about airports. Last month, we began the dredging at the port. So across all types of infrastructure, Vision 2030 is actually, as far as I'm concerned, on track. And finally, just to say that yesterday, the president launched perhaps the biggest project of all in this region, which is a Lamu Transport Corridor. And we were saying we now want to start in earnest the plans to tender for the first berth of Lamu Port. So is the glass half full? Yes, the glass is half full. And I think tremendous progress has been made over the last 2-3 years in terms of fast-tracking many of these projects. We want to commend all the various implementing agencies. We want to commend the chairman and the board and the chief executive and management of Kenya Airports Authority, just as much as we like to commend all the other infrastructure project leaders. As I speak right now, I am on my way to Utalii College, where we are undertaking performance contracts for all government agencies. And this year, for the first time, Vision 2030 flagship projects have been prioritized at the top of all performance contracts by all ministries, by all parastatals, by all regulators, with a significant amount of weighting. So we expect that as we evaluate performance contracts, what we shall be evaluating in those performance contracts will be the progress of Vision 2030 projects.
Mr. Mugo, pertaining to the...
First of all, and you all saw that we actually toured the more developmental, the large projects today, which was the Unit 4, but we also made a point of going into the existing units to see how we can leverage and improve services there. The issue of duty-free shops has a major psychological issue, because for many years we underutilized our facilities because of vested interest. And now, in October of last year, the Vision Delivery Board made a resolution to ensure that we remove duty-free shops which are unnecessary or which had been built in areas that were meant to be gate lounges. So today you saw what has been done over the last 6 months, where duty-free shops that were in areas they should not have been, lounges where we were supposed to have passengers seating, for many years had been duty-free shops. So we want to commend also KA for that particular eventuality, because it wasn't easy. It required a lot of political will and a lot of determination on the part of the Ministry of Transport and Kenya Airports Authority. So the import for me, or as far as we are concerned, is that we're sending a message that we cannot misuse facilities that are meant to serve the public.
The capacity for Unit 4 is about 1.3 million passengers, but I know that under normal circumstances it can even take 2 million passengers. But with the full efficiency, 100% efficiency, it can handle 1.3 million passengers. I think we are all aware that this airport is constrained because it was designed for 2.5 million passengers when it was done in 1978. It's now currently handling about 6 million passengers. And the passengers continue increasing. Of course, we are aware that Kenya Airways is really growing. It's opening new routes, is increasing frequencies in some routes. We are getting new airlines. And so there is a lot of demand for increasing the capacity for this airport. So this Unit 4, plus the new Greenfield terminal we are going to put up, is to ensure that we handle the passengers we have forecasted for the next 20, 30 years. Package 1 was the parking apron, which was completed. Package 2 is the Unit 4, which is now going on. Package 3 is the reorganization of the existing terminal, which we are finalizing the tender documents and design. Package 4 is the pavement, which we are already going to tender, I think around August there. Then, of course, we have Package 5, which is the Greenfield terminal. Obviously, as we know, Kenya is dependent a lot on tourism. It's also dependent on the export of horticulture and the rest. And when you think about it, the tourism passed through this airport. We are also the biggest airport in terms of cargo in Africa. So you can see the impact in terms of in those areas. Because even our small-scale farmers today, they are bringing their goods here, consolidating them here, and they are being exported. So you can see the impact. And actually, there was a study which was done by French Development Agency, and it was seen that Jomo Kenyatta Airport contributes 10.9% to the gross domestic product. And it is true when you think about the whole chain, from the small-scale farmers to transport, to the airlines, to clearing and forwarding companies, to these jobs all over. You can understand it can be that high.
Can you kindly embark on what you said about the total cost and the completion?
This airport was designed for 2.5 million passengers. We are handling 6 million passengers. So we needed more areas for passengers to sit and move around. So when we removed these shops and put seats, now passengers can be able to sit, they can be able to move freely. So it has really helped to ease that bit of congestion. That whoever we removed, we were sure that they have another shop elsewhere. So they were really consolidating their warehouses. It's not that they were moved completely from the airport. We told them to consolidate their business in the in the other shop they had. So nobody was really removed completely.